Alright, today's another archaeology day, which I always love. In fact, my last adventure to the Temple of the Moon, I had a fun time there. It was hard to film because it was so dark, but today's going to be better. It's a guided tour to 5 different sites. They're all pretty famous. So I will go back to the Temple of the Moon, but not today. So let's check out what we're seeing in today's content. So this is Qorikancha, which is known as the Temple of the Sun. Although most of what you see on the outside is Spanish construction during colonization, this part right here is part of the original Inca temple. Essentially, the Spanish colonists built their church over what used to be the Inca temples, and so the inside here is a very interesting combination of Inca and Spanish architecture. And when I use the term Inca, I mean Inca and also pre-Inca, as there might have been other civilizations and cultures that actually helped to build some of these structures. There's no doubt that the tools and techniques used to build these structures was lost to history. The only question that remains is, did the Inca build these themselves, or did they perhaps find some of these sites and then utilize them and build on top of them? The most interesting thing for me is that the Inca Empire only lasted for about 100 years. That's not very long when you consider the fact that they're building these massive megalithic structures, hauling large stones. 100 years is just not really enough for that, so I think it's highly possible that there was other cultures involved in the building of these structures. It's worth mentioning that in addition to the remains of the Sun Temple here, there's other temples like the Moon Temple and 3 or 4 others at least, and then there's the Spanish church built on top of it, so it's a very interesting site to explore. Alright, so we're outside of the city now at our first archaeological site in the hills, and this is what I came here for. This is Saqsaywaman. Very famous stuff. If you don't know about it, you should. So what is so interesting about this site? Well, if I have my history right, I believe this is where the Inca made their final stand against the Spanish, so it's kind of like a historical military battleground. But what's more interesting is from an archaeological and anthropological point of view, there's a lot of mysteries about how this was built. Essentially, there's 2 distinct building styles here that were both pre-Spanish, pre-Columbian. You'll see that there's these megalithic large stone structures which are really impressive. And then there's also this smaller brickwork which is said to be the Inca. So if the Inca are building with these smaller bricks here, who and how built these larger megalithic structures? And again, the Inca Empire only lasted for 100 years, so do you think they would have built all this within that time frame? So that's what I think is really interesting, basically that there's a lot of mysteries and stuff that's really not known about this site. There are some really interesting videos about this site online. I'm not an expert, I can't tell you anything else about it. And I'm also trying to keep this video pretty short, so let's just take in some views and then we'll move on to the next one.
Okay? Here we're going down to the cave. Down. Otherwise we're going
Well, I could have spent more time there, but we got to keep the tour group moving, and the weather's getting bad, so hopefully we can get finished before it starts raining. But that was a really cool site. It's kind of what I expected. And I'd be happy to come back a second time with my friends in November, so maybe we'll do that again. But now it is on to the next location. Okay, now the rest of the sites we're checking out are quite a bit smaller, I think, so we'll go at a little bit faster pace, but they should still be interesting. At the bottom of this cave here are some remnants of alpacas and llamas that were sacrificed during ceremonies. And within the cave itself, on these different platforms and tables, that's actually where they used to mummify some of their respected elders of the community. Now you can't see it, but there's a little creek running off on our right side of the path here. You'll find out where that's coming from soon. So now we're at Tambomachay, which is almost exactly at 3,800 meters. And basically it's like the water temple, but it has some really cool irrigation systems that you can't really see how they work, but they're still running to this day. What I mean to say is this water's been running for hundreds of years, and no one's exactly sure of the source or what it looks like on the inside of the system. It's getting cold. I'll try to finish this quickly. So this is what's called the Red Fortress, and this is basically like an access control point in the Inca Kingdom. It goes along the Inca Trail at like one of the major highways or roadways or pathways that they had. And basically guards here would collect taxes as people come and go, announce people that are entering or leaving this segment of the kingdom. So kind of a military checkpoint. So from right here, that's Tambomachay, the other site that we just came from recently. And if you go past that water temple, it continues on the Inca Trail that goes all the way to Machu Picchu. So you can see that that's kind of one of the main routes that you take back and forth amongst some popular sites. So this is a good strategic location.
This is one respect. How the Incas used to respect everything. Costa a sierra. En bus expendemos 24 horas al día y ellos solo medio día.
All right, we're done with all the archaeological stuff, but there's a bonus. We're at an alpaca farm, so we're gonna feed some alpaca, and yeah, unexpected surprise.
Tú reconoces llama de una alpaca, orejas largas y va a ser más grande que la alpaca. La cara también larga. La alpaca.
Of course, it's all a ruse to get you into their store to buy some of their products. Now it's cool, you get to see how things are made, but you know, they are trying to make some sales. So it was cool, it was fun. Alright, that wraps up the video. I'm sorry I'm a little bit sick, I think because when I was on this tour, I was not dressed for the weather, it got cold, and so now I've got the sniffles. But there's still more adventures to come. I want to go back to the moon temple that I went to at night, and I want to go during the day, so that'll at least be one more adventure that I'll try to post soon. And then soon my buddies are coming from the US to join me here, and that's going to be crazy, so you have that to look forward to. I'll see you later.
está llena. ¿Ah? Ay, no.
Y solo quiere las hojas.